Raise your hand if you think the United States is the greatest country in the world. You're not alone. A 2021 Pew Research study shows that 75% of Americans believe that the US either stands above all other countries in the world or is one of the greatest countries among others. This is a unique phenomenon, as most other nations are not nearly as patriotic. But why do we think this? And is there a true answer to the question of which country is the greatest? Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved geography, history, and learning about the world around me. I used to draw maps on the backs of the kids' menus at restaurants and watch YouTube videos about random countries. Even since then, I love not just geography, but also geopolitics and current events. This idea that the US is the greatest always fascinated me. So let's take a look at some of the data and try to answer this question for ourselves. So first of all, what is the US the best at? In my opinion, one of the best things about our country is its natural beauty. We have the most diverse ecosystems and landscapes of anywhere in the world, from the forests of Maine to the deserts of Arizona to the mountains of Alaska. We even have a great national park system that protects and showcases all of this natural beauty. We are also the world leader in space exploration, and 8 of the top 10 universities in the world are here in America. We are the biggest donor of foreign aid and the biggest financial contributor to the UN. Americans have invented the light bulb, the affordable car, and the iPhone. We have the most Nobel Prizes and Olympic golds of all time. We've led the world in innovations in culture, industry, technology, and more. The US is also certainly a highly developed country. We have the 13th highest amount of wealth per person in the world and the largest economy in the world. But what do these metrics mean for us individually? Well, it turns out that maybe the US is a great place for the extremely wealthy and not so much for the average person. During the COVID-19 pandemic, 700 billionaires gained a whopping $2 trillion from the working class. In the past 2 years, the top 1% amassed over half of the wealth created. So maybe the US is the greatest country in the world for the extremely wealthy. We also face issues like having an extremely flawed medical system. Insulin, for example, is on average 10 times more expensive in the US than in other countries, with the average American diabetic spending $6,000 a year. It's gotten to the point where 250,000 Americans per year participate in medical tourism. They travel to countries with better healthcare systems to get procedures, lowering their costs and increasing the quality of their care. We also have an extremely low life expectancy compared to other countries for the insane amount we spend on healthcare. The US also contributes significantly to climate change, with the second highest carbon footprint in the world, second only to China, which is largely because Americans have outsourced manufacturing to Chinese factories. The average American produces 5 times more carbon and other pollutants annually than the average human. One of the best ways of measuring a country's development is the Human Development Index, or HDI. It considers many aspects of the quality of life in a country, like health, education, and standard of living, and scores the country on a comparative scale. The United States is 20th in this measurement, with Switzerland and Norway leading the world. We also face issues unique to America. 87% of school shootings in the past 10 years have occurred in the US. America has by far the highest gun ownership rate in the world, with about 40% of the world's non-military firearms. We have more guns than people. This topic deserves its own talk, but it is important to acknowledge as an issue that no other country faces. So, to solve these problems in the US, we have to examine what solutions work for other countries around the world. When studying country statistics, it's clear that countries like Norway, New Zealand, and Finland lead the world. This isn't because they're the most powerful or militarily capable, but because they create a positive environment for their citizens. They have high-quality systems of education, healthcare, and employment. Norway, for example, is largely more democratic than the US, as they have dozens of political parties instead of our flawed two-party system. New Zealand has a more efficient system of government with less bureaucracy, allowing its administration to make progress much faster. And Finland keeps the distribution of wealth in check so that the people actually have a good voice in government. So, to take these solutions and implement them in our own country, we can look around the world and take different solutions from different countries, almost like putting a puzzle together. Taking one piece from Austria and one from Australia, we can create a better nation than the sum of all its parts. America has changed a lot throughout history. From constitutional amendments to movements to protests, Americans have always found a way to improve their country and fight for the improvement of the country. Though our history is flawed, we can continue to build on American ideals of liberty and justice. So what can we do to improve our country? The best way for teenagers like us to get involved in the US is to start off by understanding it. I implore you to pay attention to current events and politics. Understanding how our democracy works will help us find ways to get involved and have a voice in our country. You could join student government or model UN. And finally, make sure you keep an eye on your impact on the world. Our generation will be facing some scary problems. I hope you'll join me in finding the solutions and fighting for them. Thank you.